I think the show, for the most part, does a really good job of just showcasing it. Now, I don't know if it's just because we've been going through a pandemic and we've seen so many dystopian and post-apocalyptic shows for the last decade and a half now. It's just like, oh, God, okay. We got another one here.
Well, this is what I talked to you about
Yes.
On Wednesday,
Mm-hmm.
how I think the show is well done, but
Yeah.
I have apocalypse fatigue.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, I'm sure you heard by now, Double Toasted is heading out on tour, bringing you a night of comedy, games, and some interaction with the audience out there. Get tickets by going over to doubletoasted.com or going over to X1 Entertainment. Hey, we'll see you soon. Hey everyone, support our Patreon, which helps us to continue bringing you our live streams, videos, and podcasts while bringing you new content such as exclusive live streams and animated shorts.
So very nice. And now, chat, we're going to talk about a TV show that I can definitely say that I have seen. I've seen this one, and that is Y: The Last Man. Now, if you guys don't know about the history of attempts of trying to adapt Brian K. Vaughan's property, want to give you a little education. And people were considering turning this into a film trilogy,
Right.
a single film at one point.
Which one was going to
TV
have
series.
Shia LaBeouf?
And that's the thing. Yeah, Shia LaBeouf. That was going to be the film trilogy. They were going back and forth. It was going to be one film or a trilogy. They were approaching the director who he did Disturbia with and Eagle Eye, Dan Trachtenberg, who you guys might know of 10 Cloverfield Lane fame. He was attached to it like in the early 2010s at one point. Multiple filmmakers all dropped out until eventually people were just like, all right, turn it into a TV series, which
Works better.
This book obviously should be adapted into. You know, there is it's 10 graphic novels. I think it's 60 or 65 issues. That's a lot of content. And you also want to expand on things, and you want to address things that maybe have kind of, that wouldn't work in today right now. And so I think that's for the best thing. Kind of give you just an idea of what the show is about, Chad. We'll go ahead and show you the trailer, and we'll come up with our thoughts and the general premise. Y: The Last Man with the most obvious song choice ever. Or maybe the most ironic song choice ever.
Yeah.
Someone that I think it was Tiger GD said they should be playing all the single ladies, all the single ladies. That would have been great. If they do that for season 2,
I know.
do it.
I know.
Great, Tiger GD, great. But in case you didn't get it from the trailer, Y: The Last Man is a dystopian, post-apocalyptic show. Where not only have all the men died on the planet, like human males have died.
Oh, anything male.
Every male species has died on the planet. Anything you can imagine, like putting the world itself, multiple different species at risk. And women have inherited the earth and all the chaos that comes with it. And so it's a really dark premise, like right off the bat. And I think the show, for the most part, does a really good job of just showcasing it. Now, I don't know if it's just because we've been going through a pandemic and we've seen so many dystopian and post-apocalyptic shows for the last decade and a half now. It's just like, oh, God, okay. We got another one here.
Well, this is what I talked to you about on Wednesday, how I think the show is well done, but I have apocalypse fatigue.
Yeah. It is weird to me that you pick this time now. And again, when you're like, okay, we're going to start production, we have all these things in motion, it's hard to stop.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, and a lot of this was filmed during the pandemic. You can actually tell, like, at least people are just kind of isolated from each other. It's like a lot of people just by themselves, which again kind of goes hand in hand with hat in hand with the dystopian post-apocalyptic stories anyway. But it's like, since we've gone through, our own little, this global event we haven't seen over 100 years.
Still in the middle of.
Yeah, we're still in the middle of. Very true. That it is kind of just like, okay, all right, we got another one here. But I will say at the top, in terms of how they're using their budget for the most part, how they're showcasing what the apocalypse looks like, they put money into this, and it does look good. It does look good, no doubt about that. Now, when it comes to the cast, see, I'm really of two minds, and I think all the actors do a fantastic job.
Sure. Yeah,
but
nobody's bad.
Yeah, no one's bad in this show at all. It's just that some of the characters that they play are so annoying. That's because of the work itself, like the actual source material. Like when your lead protagonist chap in Yorick Brown and him and his little monkey ampersand, his little capuchin monkey, they are the only, as far as we know, the only males on the planet.
Other than astronauts who have not landed.
Yes, that's very true. It's interesting, though, like the last surviving person that we have, the last surviving male, is just a loser. He's a schmuck.
You and I talked about this before, and I went back to read the graphic novels to see. And, Yorick in the graphic novel, he's kind of aimless. He has some growing to do.
Mm-hmm. He's super immature for a 27-year-old.
But he's not as bad as this guy.
Yeah. This guy played by Ben Schnetzer. They upped the level.
They did.
Of him being a loser, of being stunted, immature, a whiner.
And a schmuck, and a whiner.
Yeah.
And, I was just like, hey, the actor does a great job with the character he's supposed to play. Mm-hmm. I just don't want to follow him.
I don't want to follow him. I don't like him. And it's not that we're saying that like all the characters in the show we don't want to follow. There are some standouts in this. It's just that, and again, I'm not blaming the actor at all. It's just that the character he plays, and again, this is a series. It's going to probably have multiple seasons. We'll see where he's going to grow over time and become more mature. I mean, that's what obviously happens in the comics. But you're spending so much time with a guy who just creates so much resentment towards him. It's a little rough. But again, it's not his own fault. It's not his fault. And he's doing a good job.
Yes.
I will say.
And perhaps he'll grow over time. It's just that a piece of media like this that's so female heavy.
Yes.
And you have the one male he's kind of in the negative column.
Yeah.
It's just, the optics are not great.
No, I can understand it. It's like, can we get one good male character?
Yeah.
You got him in the beginning, and now they're dead, so take it. It's like the only other one is the monkey, and he's a little shit too. Ampersand. Can I just
but that's monkeys are.
I know they're all assholes. I know they only care about food, and they're selfish, and they'll rip your face off when you're asleep.
I mean,
so
as monkeys go, Ampersand has some loyalty.
Some loyalty when he wants to be loyal. It's on his own goddamn time.
He's got more loyalty than a cat.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. At least he actually comes home eventually. After you spend some time in rotting sewage water filled with bodies in the middle of New York subway.
I mean, Ampersand's like, well, why should I suffer?
Yeah, I know. Come on. You put me in a cage all day, so him. But Yorick, he is the main character, but he is not the only character. I did want to discuss some of these other people. One in particular, because just so you seem like, okay, well, he doesn't have his shit together, right? But I'm sure his siblings do. I'm sure they're probably more well adjusted, and to a degree, this other person is. We have Olivia Thirlby, which you might not recognize her name, but people who are like big fans of sci-fi action films, she was the female lead in Dredd.
Yeah.
So that might have been like the last movie.
She was on Lost too. She's been on Lost.
Okay. I'm sure she has. I'm just thinking like for myself, like you look so familiar to me. And it's like, Dredd, great. And she plays Hero Brown, which is Yorick's sister. Now, it's not like she doesn't have her own host of problems. She's a recovering alcoholic. She's in AA, but she seemingly is getting her life together and everything.
Really?
She's in EMT.
Having an affair with a married coworker.
I seemingly getting her life together. Just listen to my words. I mean, is she probably a little bit better than York at this point? I mean, at least she has a job. Who's
he has to borrow money from her, so that automatically makes her a little bit better than him.
Exactly. But it really well, I love even though it's brief, like they're back and forth, and how they've been in the shit for a while, and they're both emotionally stunted. And it's interesting. It's like, hey, what the hell was your childhood like, and everything like that. Like it's very fascinating to me.
Yeah, but they have that. They're acting out because of their childhood.
Yeah,
which is like, I can see you've had a privileged childhood.
I know.
You guys are acting out the way abused kids did, and that doesn't seem to be your reality.
Yeah, they're just spoiled millennials. Yes. That's really what it is. With probably a mother who was too busy with her job at the same day, gave every single resource she probably could to them.
Yeah.
But we see her pretty much in the first 2 episodes. She's not in the third one, as far as I know.
Right.
But what they set up with her, I think initially it's like, oh my God, it's this big shocking thing. How she's going to get out of it. It's like her life is pretty much over. And then it's like, oh, it's the apocalypse. Never mind. Woo!
I mean, it's bad for the human race, don't get me wrong.
It's bad, but I'm going to be okay now.
That apocalypse really did me a solid. I'm not going to lie.
So I loved how they played up our expectations in regards to that, because in any other show, it would have been like, oh, how the hell are they going to get out of this one? So I will say, like, how they introduce at least most of the main cast in the first episode, especially the Browns, at least the Brown children, they do a good job kind of showing how pathetic they are and how childish they are. And it's like basically telling the audience, like, and you're going to maybe fall in love with them. You're going to go on this journey with them and they'll grow. I think that's really cool. Now, we talked about the Brown children. I didn't want to bring it up. And it's funny because this person, I believe, gets top billing for the series. And that is Diane Lane.
Well, she's got the biggest name.
Yeah, she is.
And for a show about The Last Man, it seems to be about her.
It's the Diane Lane show.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a political thriller where Diane Lane, because of the chain of command in regards to the presidency, you had all these males that died until eventually she was like the minority congresswoman in the Democratic Party, and it went to her. Yeah. And so she's like, oh shit.
Yeah. It's like, hey, turns out you're the president now.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm what?
Yeah. But even from her first scene, I really liked her. You could she's plays that career politician so well. She commands. Yeah. She has this command of the screen, just her presence, and people do look up to her, even when she's like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. I'm trying my best. I'm gonna do it. Listen, guys, I'm gonna do an inspiring speech right now, but even I'm tired. Like, I liked it. It really just showcases that everyone's in the shit. And so, yeah, she's probably my second favorite character.
Oh, I know who your first favorite is.
Yeah, we all know. But and this is. I am not too familiar with this actress, but Ashley Romans as Agent 355, also known as Sarah, her introduction is the best. She is so fascinating, where she belongs to a secret society, organization, a shadow government or whatever.
Yeah. It just seems like it's some branch of the government.
No one knows about.
Yeah, no one knows about. We have that all the time. Are you CIA? Go a little bit higher. Yeah. But I can't tell you what it is though. Yeah. Who answers only to the president. And so she's like, all right, well, everybody else on my staff is gone, but I know what my directive is, and it is to protect you. And we see from the very beginning that she is a super badass.
She is.
And honestly, in the comic series, she was one of the best characters.
Oh yeah, I think she was the best character.
Yeah. And this actress is pulling it off.
Yeah, I'm just completely unfamiliar with her, but because it's weird because watching her, it's interesting because she's a chameleon because she has to be different people.
Yes.
And like one point we see her like in Oklahoma, in some like redneck's trailer, and the next moment she's in this Secret Service outfit, and she's pretending to be friends with people. Like, you do not want this woman to be your friend, because as soon as she's like, oh my God, guys, this is crazy, right? Anytime she starts being nice, I'm like, am I going to be okay? Like, the fear of God should be in you right now, because she does some cold shit.
She does
in this now, but she's like, it's got to get done though.
Oh yeah. No, you can't help but love a character who's all about we got to get things done. She is the complete opposite of Yorick.
Oh yeah.
Why? Which is why it's going to be fun to see the two of them on the road as this, what's going to happen as this goes along. But there's a bunch of places in here where she shows real vulnerability, and I'm like, is that part of the act?
That's my thing, man. Like, I don't know. Like, because she's going to be smiling at people, and people are like, oh, wow, what's your name? And she's like, oh, hi, nice to meet you. I'm like, I think this is a whole facade.
Yeah, there's times things happen, and she looks scared, and I was like, is she actually scared, or is she just pretending to look scared?
Yeah, she's always, I think, the most, like, the only time I think we actually see vulnerability from her is when the event happens.
Sure.
Which, I like that it was slow at first, because I think in the comic, it's been so long, you might have read it recently, does it happen instantaneously, or is it, like, over time?
They kind of do back and forth in time.
Okay.
This day, 3 weeks later.
Yeah, yes.
A month ago. But it's kind of, you get the feeling like it's already happened.
Right.
And you're just kind of playing catch up for a while.
Yeah.
So here they walk you through it.
Yeah, no, they do, and they do a great job of that. I like how they showcase the different days and just how we can't even have enough people to bury all the bodies because it's more than half the population of the world is just dead, and so.
And not just let me fall out like somebody unplugged me.
No, not like the Matrix. They died.
Yeah, no, you yeah, you don't want to have a Y chromosome in this world.
No. I mean, you're vomiting, just shitting out your ass. Every orifice is leaking when you die here. It is not, as you saw from the trailer. It's not a good way to go. Yeah, the actress Ashley Roman's Agent 355 is to me one of the standouts for the series, at least so far. Now, there are some other people in this series, some characters that were created for the show.
Sure.
Because there are dated aspects for Why the Last Man that Brian K. Vaughan just hadn't considered at the time or really thoroughly explored. And it's not his fault, of course, because it just wasn't in the zeitgeist.
Society has changed.
Exactly.
Who could have predicted?
And so one of the things that the show covers, and I think they cover well, at least so far, is in regards to transgender people, transgender males specifically. And the show basically says you have transgender women who had a Y chromosome, they died.
Yeah.
That's what they say. And transgender men who, they're still alive because they don't have a Y chromosome.
Right.
And you have some transgender characters, and
who are hoarding testosterone.
Yeah, well, apparently, yeah. They're only down to the last little bit of T. Last bit of testosterone. This new character is Sam Jordan, played by Elliot Fletcher, who is a transgendered man in this show. And so this is someone who we're going to be following a little bit. They haven't really done much with them. We do see a bit of a dynamic. This is Hero Brown's best friend that she goes with to AA with, and we a little bit of their dynamic. I want to see more of them. But they just haven't done a lot.
Right.
His other friends just kind of him over. It's Jesus Christ, no loyalty at all. So it'll be interesting to see that. But there's actually a whole lot of other characters in this series.
Yeah.
And the thing is, to me, I want to talk about each and every one of these people, but a lot of them are so similar. And it also made me think okay, who's going to be the big threat? Because when you think of Why the Last Man, you have these cults that spring up and things over time.
Yeah,
these hordes, these gangs and shit.
I know with the cult of the Amazons, who their feeling was that it was God's will that all the men die.
Right.
And if they see a man, they're going to kill him.
Yeah.
And they're going around destroying sperm banks, so no more men can be born.
Yeah, and I imagine we're going to see.
Which seems extremely short-sighted.
Yeah, it's of course it's a cult. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. Yeah. They're all stupid. So we do see these threats, but I think the main threat from the show, or excuse me, from the comic, the main villain you think was the Israelis.
The Israelis, yeah.
And I don't think they're going to do that. They might be hinting at.
It looks like they're doing some of it.
They're doing something where you have a certain character who was in Israel who's going to be the big threat. But because I'm watching the show, I'm who would I say are the villains of the series so far? And the villains are the Karens.
Yeah, you're right.
Karens.
The Karens, yeah.
These are the villains where you have all these. Listen, it's women inherit the earth, still disagree with each other. These people have different upbringings and different political and cultural beliefs and stuff, and they're still just as mad and petty and as stupid as they ever were when the men were around.
Well, people talk about they've updated since the comic because they had to certain things, but something that has not been updated. Because it's just there. It's see, if women ran things, it would go much smoother. And this is all to go no, it wouldn't.
No. Humans are flawed, and we're ignorant, and we'll fuck things up in a minute. That's what we do. When you get so many of us in a room, that's what will usually happen. But no, seriously, I'm not joking, chat. Karens at the moment are the villains of the movie, and there's a super Karen that is on the way. I mean, literally, it's a big reveal where she's. I don't want to get too much into it, but they talk about this individual who was a part of the president's cabinet, and he was a Republican. But apparently, in order to get elected, he needed all the racists.
Yeah.
And so he put this one person who was super popular with all the racists and sexist and everything, and but in a small time cabinet position, and really she should be president. But it's oh, thank God she died. No. No.
Not dead.
And she's there like a Frankenstein monster. Just what has happened? I shall be president. It's okay. I think is going to be the threat. Literally, chat, we're going to get a Frankenstein Karen, and that has me interested because that is something new that the series adds.
It is adding a bunch of new things. And so it's going to depend on how much you're interested in all the political stuff.
Certain characters are losing it. They can't, maintain civility in the apocalypse, in this dystopian world. And I'm glad that they're taking their time with it, because that's why I'm so glad at least this is a series and not a movie, because it would have been so fast.
How it was going to work as a movie, especially with Shia LaBeouf. I was like, how is this going to work at all?
Yeah.
I mean, I might talk about this version of York, how I don't care for him or following him. But Shia would have been obnoxious.
It would have been pretty rough.
I was like,
it would have been like he wasn't Transformers. Except even more annoying. And about magic. Honestly, you know what? York, I just realized York Brown is Job from Arrested Development. He's a young Job. That's what he is. So imagine, Chad, that the savior of humanity, what could be the savior of our species, is Job from Arrested Development, a young, more immature version of him. Oh, no. That's what we're stuck with. But so far, I'm really enjoying the show. Again, we've gotten so many dystopian series and post-apocalyptic series where it's like, okay, we got another one. But there's no doubt that it's well done. It has me interested. I don't know if I'm confident enough to give it, or feel like I've watched enough to give it like a rating, but I would encourage people to check it out. First 3 episodes are on Hulu right now. I think the next one comes out
just Tuesdays.
Tuesday? Yeah. Okay, so you got episode 4 right there, and I guess there's 10 episodes or 8 episodes this season. So
sounds about right.
Yeah, and they're
for an FX show,
and they're between 45 and 55 minutes, so about under an hour. But yeah, any final thoughts on the show?
Yeah, you know what? Like I said, I think it's a really well done show. I do have some disappointment in as much as I said, it leans so much on the apocalypse, and this dark palette, and something I was feeling but wasn't sure until I went back and started rereading the book. I was like, I know what is missing, and that book, despite everything that's happening, it wasn't a downer. There was something. Almost fun,
irreverent. There's some irreverence in it.
Yeah. No, it was irreverent, and it's maybe a little bit absurd that hey, these 2 people are on the road trying to get somewhere, but it wasn't depressing, and this is. And if so many things weren't depressing, I would be more on board. But as I'm watching this, I'm like, this is. Hey, no knock against this show, but I don't always want to live in that atmosphere for that hour.
I totally understand.
So I'm hoping that in the next couple of episodes, it really moves into them being on the road and going places, and not just being stuck around the White House with everybody yelling at each other. Yeah,
no, I agree with you, and that's clear what they're setting up after the end of the third episode, where we're going to have Yorick and Sarah, Agent 3355, or whatever you want to call her, doing that, and that is most of the book. That's the meat of the book, and where, I mean, they only travel across the United States. They travel the world, though. Yes. And so I'm very interested to see.
Yes, because they go everywhere. He wants to get to Australia to meet up with Beth, his girlfriend or fiance. Yeah. Which they kind of torched that in the first episode.
Yeah, they're like, no, fuck that. I mean, we both know it's this is. Everyone's telling York, don't propose, you idiot. You're a loser. No, I love her. It's like, all right, okay.
Can I borrow $100 so I can make dinner?
I'm gonna make grilled cheese and make fancy grilled cheese. She did love that grilled cheese. Yeah. I've never seen a girl eat grilled cheese the way that woman did, because she was like, this is great. So maybe you can marry her. Maybe she's easy to please. I
used 3 cheeses. 3? Oh my God.
One of them is goat. Goat! Oh! It's orgasm right there. But yeah, I'm still interested to see how this is going to progress.
Yeah, me too.
I'm wondering if they will have the budget to do some of these other international locations. They go to Southeast Asia, they go to China, they go to Japan,
they go all over
to
the
Europe.
world. Yeah.
So, Israel, but you can film that here. But still, we'll see. But chat. So far, Martin and I like it. It's definitely dour. So just go in knowing that it's another dour dystopian show.